Hi guys, and welcome to Sister's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a variation on Osaka-inspired okonomiyaki. So if you're ready, let's get started. You will need Chinese cabbage, spring onion, oyster mushrooms, Worcestershire sauce, honey, ketchup, Sriracha, Bonito flakes, Kewpie mayo, Togarashi powder, soy sauce, peanut oil, eggs, tempura scraps, sake, flour, various spatulas and knives, something to hold your water in, and a cutting board, bacon, a pan with a lid, and a bowl. So first we're going to start with our eggs, and I use however many eggs of people eating the okonomiyaki, so in this case that would be 2. And we're just going to whisk them up. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of soy sauce and a teaspoon of sake. And this just adds a little bit of extra dimension to our batter. You can add whatever you'd like, you can experiment with it, so if you try something different, let me know if that worked for you. Then we're going to add about a half a cup of flour, and that'll help make our batter thick. And then we're just going to add a little bit of water because we want to make sure that it's gooey enough that when we add all our other ingredients, they can all still mix together well. So now we're going to prep our veggies, and we're going to start with a little bit of spring onion. I like to add spring onion because it adds a little bit of an oniony taste and helps with sort of the whole dimension of the flavor in all of the okonomiyaki together. So then we're going to add our cabbage, and we want to cut the middle bit out because that is sort of bitter and hard, and so really you just want to use the leaves. Now you can cut the leaves however chunky or fine you like. I like to cut it fine because I hate biting into random things. So I cannot deal with chunks, but as always, you do you. So now we're going to work on our oyster mushrooms, and once again, this is a chop how you like it type deal. I love adding oyster mushrooms because I find that they give sort of a spongy texture to it and a little added flavor even though they're not really overpowering, so it sort of works really well with the cabbage and the little bit of spring onion that we've got going there. So as you can see, our batter is still quite wet, so I'm just going to add a little bit of extra cabbage just to make sure that the batter is thick enough that it will really hold when we put it in the pan later. And then finally we're going to add some tempura scraps. If you want to know how to make this, then check out my upcoming video on how to make tempura, and I'll show you how to make these as well. So now we're just going to use the last of our spring onion that we were using, and we're going to cut the green bit into little rings so that we can decorate our okonomiyaki later on. So now we're going to make some okonomiyaki sauce. You can buy it, but it's also easy to make. Here I've got 1 tablespoon of ketchup, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and a teaspoon of honey. Now you can adjust this sauce for whatever it is that you like best, so feel free to play around with it and enjoy. So now that we're ready to cook, we're just going to put some peanut oil in our pan. Make sure that we cover the entire bottom of the pan and then turn it up to high heat so that we can get the oil really hot. Now, once the oil is hot, we can start adding our batter to the pan, and what you want to do is make sure that you flatten it out and give it sort of a round shape so that it all holds together and so that you can flip it easily later on. You also want it to be approximately the same thickness so that it all cooks evenly. Next, I like to add my bacon. You don't have to add bacon to it, but I like the crunchy texture and the sort of added dimension of salt that it gives. So now we finished building our okonomiyaki. We can add the lid and put it on for 5 minutes at medium heat. Once that's done, we just have to flip it over, Put the lid back on and cook it for another 5 minutes. So now we're going to dress our okonomiyaki, and we're going to start with our okonomiyaki sauce and just make sure that we cover it everywhere. There are going to be little crevices, so if you're like me and you want to be extra careful, then just look for those crevices to fill in with the sauce. Then I like to add some Togarashi powder. That's completely optional though. Some Bonito flakes just to add to the umami flavor of it. And then finally I dress it first with some Sriracha. And then some Kewpie Mayonaise. And then we can grab our spring onion and then add it over the top just to make it look extra pretty. So there you have it, a very simple variation on Osaka-inspired okonomiyaki. Let me know if you like it, if you did anything different with it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys back soon.